What's up, everybody? It's Yu-Gi-Oh! Prodigy, continuing the interview series, episode 4. I'm here with my good friends Ryan and Taylor, known as Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading Card and Agent Lamb Chop. Fellas, how's it going?
It's going good, so far, everything's been good.
Yeah, dude, it's good. Chill Saturday. Glad to be here.
Yeah,
Glad to do this with y'all.
Awesome.
same here too.
Well, definitely. I'm super excited to have you guys. First thing I want to start off with, I know, Ryan, your name makes sense in trading cards, just Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading Card for Yu-Gi-Oh! But Taylor, I noticed your name is Agent Lamb Chop. So I guess the first question is, how did you come up with that name and what does it actually mean to you? Because I don't think I've heard of that
Okay.
in Yu-Gi-Oh! So
Agent Lamb Chop is actually a story from whenever I was like 17. I had a friend and he had stretched ears. He was probably about an inch and a half stretched ears, and we talked like every day. And we made these jokes one time where it was like, he's like, "You're Agent Lamb Chop," and I was like, "Well, you're Agent Floppy Lobes." And it, for me, like having a handle from, and people seem to like it, so don't fix it if it isn't broken.
All right. No, that's cool. I was always interested how you come up with that name because
Nice.
it's a little bit different than what you would see in like most people have their name as like Yu-Gi-Oh! If they're into Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff. So that's pretty cool. So I'll switch gears a little bit. Ryan, this question we'll start with you and then we'll go back with Taylor here. But Ryan, what
Yeah,
really
yeah.
just got you into Yu-Gi-Oh, man?
I mean, I grew up with Yu-Gi-Oh! Like long time ago with my cousin. He used to buy the Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, like the starter Kaiba and Yugi, and he got me to the hobby. It was for him. So, that time when I was a young kid, he bought me starter Kaiba, and he got the starter Yugi. Things that we was having fun. I was a dumb kid back then. I didn't really know that much how to play the game. We were just collecting and stuff like that. But he's the main one that got me into Yu-Gi-Oh! But for my childhood was the best time experience. I was young. We used to have fun. I remember this Dark Magician we found in the closet one time, and I was like, damn, he took it away because I was like, shit. That was the best time. As Yu-Gi-Oh was a part of my childhood growing up. It was the best time to have it. Back then.
Oh, that's awesome, man. And
Yeah.
and Taylor, going same question there. What got you into Yu-Gi-Oh as well?
Growing up, I lived out in the country, didn't have internet. I didn't have internet access till I was like 17. So just kind of caught it on TV. And when I would go to my dad's during the summer, I'm in Dallas, and I would have $100. First Yu-Gi-Oh cards I had, went to Toys R Us, first edition, starter deck Joey. Had to have that red eyes black dragon. And then from there, I played with my little brother, and we didn't know anything except for first season of Duel Monsters, so it was just like, here's a monster, do what you want.
That's awesome. So you just so both of you guys just did y'all start like when you were in your teens, early teens, or was it more of, or did you like start and then pick back up later in life, or tell me a little bit about those scenarios.
For me, it was like when I was young. I used to play the game and collect the cards and stuff. Then I quit. From the time. In high school, it was like my junior year. I used to like watch the show and like, collect like a few cards. And afterwards, I put it back aside. I was in college, and like a semester, like 2 semesters coming up, I got back more into it. 'Cause I was watching old school Echo's video where he collect cards, unboxing stuff and things like that, and it got me interested from that time. I was like, you know what, this looks pretty fun again. It looks so good collecting it. And I was like, you know what, let me start collecting it, and I got as more I collect cars and things like that, the more I got much fun and excitement back into the hobby again. Like my childhood, which I didn't know that much until now. I know a lot. So to me, it's like I'm starting back at a much older age instead of a much younger time.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
What about you, Taylor?
I think I was like 8 when I first got into it, and then around the time of high school, kind of dropped away from it for a bit, and then when I was like 19, me and my friends that like hung out like every day, I found my old cards, and then we were like, oh yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! And then we started playing again, and then I had
Like both of you guys, just pretty much you started in it when you were young, and then it like you went away from it, and then you just went back to it when you got a little bit older. Do you think that was because of do you think because now you're more financially stable, or do you think what was the reason why you started? I guess stopped and then restarted. I guess that's more of the question.
I think it's like as you get older, you get interested into more stuff. Like for example, like as you go up to like in high school, you're more interested in girls. You got like you're focused on your future, which one do after high school, things like that. That time. And as you go forward more in life, like in college and stuff, you get like free times on your hand, like on the weekends, after studying, you watch videos to take out the break. And for me, I used to watch some Yu-Gi-Oh videos from the anime series, and that would draw back my attention back into the hobby. Like, certain things you miss from childhood, but in adulthood, you relive them again, you watch them again, and that brings you back into the more point of view from how it is for me today, basically. I think that's how it is for me. Everybody's different, but that's what I see as that.
Oh, for sure. What about you, Taylor?
Really and truly, the only reason I would quit like collecting and stuff is I just wouldn't have anybody to play with. Like, I didn't have anybody to play with. To me, up until I found like the Yu-Gi-Oh community on Instagram and stuff like that, because I didn't really use social media before, like 4 years ago. It was like if I didn't have anybody to play with, I just have these cards, and to me, like collecting was cool, but it was like I wanted to play the game, and that's why I got back into it. Whenever I picked it up 4 years ago, originally, I was like, I want to play. I want to figure out what's going on in the meta now. I want to actually. I never got to play it properly, like competitively. $20 back, like.
No, I think we can all attest to that, though. If you're gonna spend money on something, you want it to be not only nostalgia, but exactly value wise. If you're gonna gamble, at least why not try to open a pack and get something that you've never either pulled or it's really exciting. So I totally agree with you on that. What you were saying a minute ago, Ryan, when you brought up the cartoon show, so I'd like to shift gears into that. I'll start with Ryan on this question. Who is your favorite character in the cartoon show and why? And then I'll ask that same thing to Taylor as well after yours, Ryan.
That's a question I get asked a lot most of the time. It's watching Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. People ask me, "What's your favorite character? What's your favorite monster?" From the character's point of view, I think it had to be Yugi because he's one of those characters that's like trying to win. He doesn't care about power, money, whatever. He just want to be, just do it for himself. Like help his friends out of situation. Be a great character. But the way how he plays in the game, if you watch it carefully, he's like a player who puts his heart into the game and stuff like that. And like, he's really, and there's a lot of story behind him that's really good, But I see him as like a character that everybody loves the most besides Kabe, even though he gets blue eyes. Like, Yugi was really good in the show. He was like the best, unstoppable. That's what people want to be like, I like him a lot. Especially Dark Magician, which is really cool and colorful, And, Yugi's like a really good character that I like a lot. And I grew up with, especially because, he was really the best, and he's still, the king of games, regardless, even to this day. He's the best no matter what. So that's how I see him as that, and he's the best character, and I like him for that. Who he is and what he became for everybody else today.
Oh, definitely. That's a good point of view. I like that actually. Taylor, what do you think? What's your favorite character and why?
Well, first off, I just want to say low key. We never got to see the duel between Yugi and Joey, and we know what Joey can pull out of his ass. And whenever Merrick was controlling his mind, that was Merrick. That was Merrick on some bitch shit. We ain't gonna count that. But anyways, my favorite character, low key, Bakura and Eve Bakura, the spirit inside the Millennium Ring.
Right.
Low key, most slept on, underrated character in the whole series. I get it; he wasn't in a lot, but if you actually watch through the full original series, I think it was season 4, season 4 or 5. Season 4 or 5, the one that was about them going back in time. Eve Bakura, the Millennium Ring Spirit, and Yami Yugi, a Tim, they were playing the game, but everybody's spirits were back in.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Egypt.
Yeah. He was serious in that duel. He was very serious. I'm like, that dude's not joking.
Yeah, and then when Yugi and them showed up with Bakura, like in the Egypt and stuff, he had Bakura show up and he had the dual disc come up out of his arm, and that was when Yugi. It was the first time Yugi really stepped up and was like, "I ain't got Yami with me."
I'm gonna add on to that. What people don't understand, season 5, that season is the most intense season you'll watch. You will cry at the ending, but that season is very tough. It shows that the small Yugi that he gotta fight for his own because the Pharaohs is not there to help him no more. So he had to fight for himself, and he learned over the time. But I'm like, he really stood for himself, and that season 5 episode was the most intense battle. If people watch that, they will cry and understand why that episode was considered the best and the last episode ever made. I'm telling you, to watch that, Joe.
Oh,
Everybody gotta
Oh
watch
yeah,
that
when
episode.
Yugi and Yami dueled. Yeah,
That was
that was
best. That was so cool. I
that was
love that
legit.
episode.
Like, yeah, Yugi had to step up, and Yami's like, I don't want to leave, but I gotta go rest.
Yeah,
This little kid
it
don't woke
was
me up, and
yeah.
I gotta go lay my head down, man. It's been
I think I've done all up to season 4. I think it's the most I've watched, like binge watching and stuff. But I'd like to watch
Yeah.
more of it. But no, that brings up some good points, guys. That's awesome. I'm always curious because it's different, or like points of view when you hear it from someone else with like what their favorite character is, but it's really cool since most people watch the show that are collectors. I'd say majority. But hearing people's points of view on that I always find is interesting to me. Um, so let's shift gears again. Next question. I'll start with Taylor on this one. What would you say is some of the pros and cons of being a Yu-Gi-Oh collector?
okay. So the con obviously is it's expensive, but if you're actually collecting and buying viable cards and slabs, obviously it's an investment. So if you do it smart, you're good. The other cons is just dealing with the bullshit, man. Like in the community, like dealing with people in general. Like they can be the nicest people. I mean, I've seen a lot, and there's a lot that I've been through that I haven't spoken on because it's like it it affected me, but it's like the people that it was with, they are good members of the community, so to speak. So I don't want to tarnish their name just because I had a bad experience. But it's like if I was to see similar situations come up, which I haven't with certain individuals, I would speak up. I would be like, yeah, you've had this experience. This is what's happening. That I would speak up then because it wasn't anything scam wise or anything. But you know, there's definitely people you can deal with and do great business with, and then all it takes is one bad transaction to just be like, have anything for you anymore? Like, go your own way, I'll go mine, and
Oh,
so
for sure. One thing, what you said, like it's stuff you don't ever forget, and I mean, I totally agree with you on that. Like, I remember the guy in second grade that still owes me $1. Like, it's like it's as dumb as most people would think of that. It's like it's just a mental thing that, like, it wasn't, obviously the monetary value is not much, obviously, but it's something that I'll always remember. And it's like little things like that, especially like in our community. It's like you remember if someone did good for you or they did bad for you, and it really, a lot of people don't say stuff, which is fine, but sometimes it's like, man, is it something that you really should address or not? And I guess that's the key there. It's interesting, but I really want to hear what Ryan has to say here because if anything, uh, Taylor's already opened up a little bit here, but I'm really curious what Ryan's opinion is on
Almost,
this.
I'm gonna throw every shit under the bus, bro. The pros and cons of Yu-Gi-Oh, in my opinion, there is 99.9% of cons, and there's 1% of pros. So basically, the con is this: you will go broke, you go homeless, you will go hungry, you will sleep outside under the tree with a blanket and a pillow. And that's it. Just for one shiny cardboard that you won't buy. Second of all, when you do deals with people on IG, that's the dangerous part because you don't know if you don't get scammed, if they'll send your card in shitty condition or your stuff gets lost. I know people that in the community that do deals and they scam and they like let's say like how they scam this person out of stuff even though the person got it for good profit. And to me that's kind of bullshit because somebody you want to get something good for the collection and they get scammed out of it by somebody who just backstabbing in the back for that. And that to me that's like the bad stuff. The other part is that card prices are very expensive now. It's not very cheap. It's you're gonna go super broke for just for one or three cards. Before Yu-Gi-Oh was that much high up. Now it's like you just gotta like decide whether you want to spend $500 for one card or you want to spend like $1 for a card, and that's like the downside. The worst part is that if you like people come to this hobby, you're gonna get you're gonna get a lot of pressure, a lot of scam going on with you in Yu-Gi-Oh, especially Yu-Gi-Oh. There's less scam and less problem in Pokemon and Magic the Gathering, whereas Yu-Gi-Oh has a lot of issues going on. Like people see the cards are more valuable and more desirable as scam people and stuff. I know, like for example, a guy named Jacob Bowman, he's top of the scammers list, basically the number one. And I'm like, that's the scary part. Like, I don't want to do trade or deal with people on IT because you don't know who's who, and and some people have good reputation sometimes. Like you said, your best friend can backstab you at any moment. People have a high reputation in the Yugioh community, and they backstab people in the back too. And some people don't know it, except for the higher communities. They know it, but they don't say that much. That's why I see the community is bad, and that's how it is. The pros of having Yu-Gi-Oh is basically just having fun, like you said, Lam. Having fun. That's the best part. That's the only thing you do. Have fun, enjoy is for you. But other than that, the pros is like a lie. Not a lie. I would say the pros is a little bit, but the cons is the worst. Like, you want to come inside.
What do you think?
That's what.
Or why do you, if anything, just feeding off that, what you're saying there? Why do you think that the community, like you're saying, the community is worse off compared to, like you're saying, Magic the Gathering or Pokemon? Explain more what you mean by that.
The Yu-Gi-Oh community, it's what I see is that people value money more than having fun in the hobby. They jack the price up so much that you gotta spend a lot of money to get it. And if you want to get a good deal, you gotta spend a lot of money just to get one card, and you're not having fun with it. You're just stressing out over the one card. Like, oh, I need this card for my collection, but I gotta spend $2,000 for it. Are you kidding me? That's just like it's just bullshit. And it's on top of that, like people just like buy a lot of shit out of Yu-Gi-Oh. People do deals behind people's back. People get scammed a lot, and I'm like, what the hell is wrong with this community? Nobody's having fun no more.
Man.
Like I know for like some people, I think there's one guy I know him too. Like he does want to get help from the community, but he doesn't want to like he doesn't trust them sometimes. There are smart people in the Yu-Gi community that knows what they're collecting and how much value there is. Whereas somebody who's just coming into the market, like a fresh person, like fresh meat, that has like a LOB box first edition, the person be like, "Oh, can someone help me evaluate this box?" Someone who has very like good knowledge of Yu-Gi-Oh and wants to make profit, they know that box is worth a lot of money, and they try to undervalue that person, but oh, it's worth $10,000, And that person be like, "Oh yeah, no problem, need the money, whatnot," and that's how it's gonna be. The Yu-Gi-Oh is like. I don't see having fun with it that much. Basically, when I first came in, it was fun. Now it's like it's not. I don't have the joy like I did before. It's just misery and sadness. Like I gotta spend money for this car. Like it's not fun anymore. My opinion is not.
Man, well that was a lot there, Ryan. I appreciate you sharing that.
I'm telling you, you could be surprised later on in life, man. This community.
If you don't mind, can I add on?
Yeah, go ahead, Taylor. I was
gonna have to. So, like, I get where Ryan's coming from, but I think that is a big issue with the community. Is a lot of people come into it and they get caught up, and you have to have these big, flashy, shiny cards. Yeah. And that was something I actually experienced. Like, I came into it, like, I was just like, I remember when I got back into it, I was like, I'm gonna sleeve every card, every common, every this, every that, because I was coming back into it with the genuine love for it. And then I got into the community. And you see all these people with like these big flashy collections, and you see the final product of years of work. And a lot of people don't realize that. And a lot of these years of work came from before the markets fluctuated so high as well.
Exactly.
And so you see it and you're like, oh, I want that, I want that, I want that. But like, and then they also get caught up in thinking like, oh, I don't have shiny cardboard. Like all I have are these commons. All I have is this. My collection's worth nothing. That's not true. What people have to realize is you have to collect what you want. And that was the biggest piece of advice that I got from many people that really revitalized the hobby for me is understanding like you don't have to have $5, $10, $15, $20,000 cards, sealed product, whatever. As long as the cards you have like are what you want and what you enjoy, that's all that matters. For example, like I think it's Shadow Realm Trading Co. He's super into like sealed promos and Korean cards and stuff. Yeah, and like, don't get me wrong, some of that stuff does have value, but then there's some of it that because other people don't want it, it's not very valuable. But for him, that's his shtick. That's what he loves, and that's what keeps the hobby alive for him. And I think more people need to realize that, like, find what you like, even if it's collecting super rare cannon soldiers. If that's the only card you want, then go buy every super rare cannon soldier in the world and be happy with your collection. Who cares if someone has a PSA 10, 11, 12 Crush Card Virus Shonen Jump Championship card? Like, exactly. That doesn't matter. Because if that's not what you like, you could go blow that money, and then you're just sitting here like, man, I got this expensive card, and I don't even like this card. But hey, Instagram, what's up? Give me the clout. Like,
Right.
I guess that's kind of part of it too. Is everyone wants the clout off of it sometimes, and that's where it kind of gets messed up. Where the love of the hobby versus the love of being able to flex comes in.
Or being
More than
happy.
anything, yeah, more than anything, the point I wanted to get across is I really want people to understand. Find what you love, even if it's not Yu-Gi-Oh, if it's Pokemon, if it's Dragon Ball Super, Magic the Gathering, Weiss Schwartz, whatever. Find whatever you love and go after it. Don't worry about what the next man is doing, because that is what's going to make you miserable. That's what's going to bring you down, and you're not going to enjoy the thing that you used to enjoy with the genuine love that you had for it, because you're getting caught up in something that has nothing to do with you.
No, that's you make a great point there. I think of like because if you think about it, Instagram is pretty much people's highlight reel. You know, it's this is you know, everything that I'm showing you on Instagram is like, this is like the best that I have, and I think that's where the mindset and the miscommunication is from people. Is like when someone posts an awesome card, I think, yeah, that's awesome, it's great. And I think the hard thing with a lot of people is it's like, I feel like some people just envy that, and it's just like, it's a cool card, but you shouldn't envy what someone else has. Yes, you might want it. Yes, it might be a good goal in the future, but you should never envy what someone else has, because for one, you don't know where they're at in life. They could just got a huge promotion and finally taken off, or this is their first time ever getting some. Or on the flip side, It could have just all been handed to them. So I feel like when I see people that have worked hard to get to their collections, and they did it themselves, I think to me is worth more than somebody that just was a trust fund and got everything handed to them. Like, I think that's two different worlds, and most people don't realize that.
I want to add on is that some of us started like late, which we got, is much harder that time. So, while others who got like big collections now, they started early, for them. So that for back then it was easier for them. Now for someone who just came in, like I started like 3 years ago, it's very hard for us, And it's like we look at it like, damn, we can't get it. But then again, as you build your collections, like as I learned over time, when I'm building my stuff slowly, I do like it. Some people ask me, hey, nice car, how do you get this? Like, it is. I'm like, I build my collection differently from other people. Everyone has LOB to AST, and Yu-Gi-Oh GX, and that's all kumbaya and whatever crap. I built mine from LOB from AST as well. But however, from the show itself, there are certain cards that was not released into the set, into the OG set, but released into other sets. And that way I build it from that section. I keep adding different cards, things like that. And people's like, yo, that's some good stuff. How you got that? Like, if you watch the show, you learn from LB to AST, you build a collection from that. You want to build something unique for yourself. Don't copy everybody else, because you're copying the exact same person. You gotta spend tremendous amount of money to be just like them. Whereas you could be different like from them and be much happier for yourself and have something that's more valuable than theirs, basically, They might have things much valuable than yours, but some people say, hey, listen, you have a good collection. I really like it, man. Any tip? I'll say, yeah. Just build what you love, buy what you can afford, and just enjoy it as the most. But more importantly, don't follow people's step, because sometimes you might not like it where you end up with them, basically.
No, you make a really good point there on doing your own thing and like being original, because it's like, you don't want to see the same thing on every account that you look at. At least the people that I like to follow, I like to see the variety and differentials. I don't like to see the same ultra or super posted every day. That's why, like you were saying earlier, Taylor, with what was it, Realm Trade? I forgot the guy's name.
Realm Trading Co.
Yeah,
I think that's his name.
And yeah, like you said, he posts a lot of different stuff, and that's one reason why I follow him, is because I don't want to see the same highlight reel every day. I like to see something differently, and he posts a lot of Korean stuff and Japanese stuff, all different types of language stuff, which is interesting and different, and stuff I'm not really familiar with as well. So, but yeah, if anything, let's since you're on the topic there, Ryan, on collections wise, I'm really curious on what do you guys collect the most of, and then why do you collect that, and what's your favorite thing to collect? Just like a mixture of all three of those types of questions.
To me, it's I collect LB from LB to ASC, because those are the original sets that came out. I collect super rare ultras and secrets, and first edition North American printed, because when I was doing my research, I learned that these are much more valuable cards. They have more profits in them. You want to sell them, trade them, or keep them. Those are where we get from, and from those, I build my collection slowly. However, I do collect individual different cards from the show itself because if you watch the show on online and you scroll down, they tell you certain card that was played in this episode, and but if you go look back in the from the OG set, it's not there. So I say, you know what? Let me take some cards from the show that was released and build my collection from there. And if it's super ultra secret, I take those as well. If it's precision, I'll take them as well. That shows me that I like what I'm building and how much I like collecting basically. And those is like what I really want to collect. I don't like.
We'll get to you in 1 second, Taylor. I just want to ask you one more question on that, Ryan. So you're so it sounds like you collect more of the cards versus sealed
Yeah.
product. Is there a reason
Uh,
why?
I collect both, but the cards I collect most because the cards you can still get now today because they're at a low price. Certain cards, whereas the sealed products you can't get them that much now. Some like for a sealed boost pack is like $300 to $400 now. I'm like, what the hell? 2 years ago it was like $50. That wasn't that bad. That wasn't that bad back then. And I'm like, okay, but the cards it's much better to get because you can still build them up slowly from a collection, right?
Right.
That
Same question there, Taylor. What do you think?
Okay, so I'm an advocate of breaking sealed product personally. Like,
What do you guys think? Like, obviously the market's been pretty crazy this year, but leading into next year, 2022, what do you guys see the market?
I'll let Ryan take that one away.
Yeah, okay, Mr. Hot Shark, I got you. Just messing with you. I think the market for next year it might go back up or it might not because like the way I see cards are, they're very low now for some reason. Like certain cards was like about 10,000 for PSA 10. I think it was actually how much was the SDK Blue Eyes version go for from Starter Cup? I mean LB Blue Eyes PSA 10. Oh my god, that thing will cost him 11R for that card.
All right.
I see it go down low now. I'm like, okay, so it's good as going down, which means people can afford it, which is a good thing. But for next year's, if it goes back good next year, which it might, I think so, and it's going to be much valuable for everybody's cards basically, and that's going to cause like more backup of PSA grading basically, especially for Yu-Gi-Oh market since they're like ranked number 3 in the most I think playable or collectible version, where Pokemon's ranked number 1. Magic is ranked number 2, and Yu-Gi is ranked number 3, basically for like market. Those are the 3 top markets right now, especially. So for Yu-Gi-Oh, I see it going back up, slowly going back up crazy like next year.
Do you think
Especially when you have like YouTuber that expose it to Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff,
right.
they are gonna want to influence the whole market basically for next year for everybody else.
Do you think?
That's why I see it.
So you said the market's going to go back up. Do you think it has anything to do with like the 20th anniversary coming out of LOB, or do you just think in general, or?
I think just in general, it's gonna go back up. Basically, certain things do take hit very low sometimes, and it goes back up. Like
And I mean, I'm not a guy that really watches the market too close. I don't really know a lot of the terminology and things because I collect for myself. I don't really, collect for any other reason. So, but I do like to keep an eye on things. And yeah, ultimately, I think the market will be up, but in a more natural way in the coming year.
Right.
I think it'll bounce back down to where naturally it's supposed to be when people don't have all this play money and they actually have to go back to working and actually being, not bored and trying to get rich quick, Timmy's everywhere,
You think that's why PSA, for instance, why their prices are even like their cheaper pricing now is $100 a card, which is still ridiculously priced. You think
I
it's
think they're
because
trying to
of
make.
everybody? They did all the raw card or just all the commons. They sent in their commons and everything else, not just like the ultras and supers. You think that's the reason why that trend or why they were so backed up?
I think definitely. And then you had, 2020 hit, and then you had everybody wanting to get into the card market because of people like Logan Paul, Gary Vee, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And so you already had it backed up, and PSA and BGS thought they could handle it. And then you had the second wave of backup come in. And I mean, that's why they're at where they're at. But I think both companies are handling it right now. I know people aren't happy with it, but I think it's smart because it'll make people think a little bit more about what you're grading.
If anything, next question. This one's for you, Ryan. Someone brand new in the community It's just brand new on Instagram. What would you say would be the 3 accounts that you would recommend them in Yu-Gi-Oh to follow, and why? And then we'll go to Taylor on that as well.
I would say the top 3 accounts would be Yu-Gi-Oh Project, you of course. Your account's fun. You show content. You see a lot of things. You make good things. You see stuff.
Thanks, man.
Number 2 would be Yu-Gi-Oh Collectibles. Really good stuff. He posts a lot of good content. I've been friends with that guy for a long time. We talk about cars. We talk about politics. We talk about all kinds of fun stuff. He's a great guy. Number 3 would be let's see. No. I hate to say it, but in my opinion, even though I don't like him, something he may be a jackass to some people. Something he just thinks he's better than everybody. I would say number 3 would be Strictly Sealed. He has good content. He knows what he's talking about. I give him props for that one, but you have to be very careful with that dude. He's very sus, in my opinion, man. He has good content. He has good content. He tells you what to this and that. He's a smart guy, very good manipulator, in my opinion. That dude is like a. Just be careful with him, in my opinion.
What do you mean by that? Those are 3. Elaborate a little on that if you can.
It's like he's a smart guy. He knows the market. He knows collectible. He knows every single thing. You name it, he knows it. This and that. If you get a product, you do a deal with this guy. Know your product very well. Get your stuff evaluated. He knows how. He's a smooth talker when it comes to trading. He knows very well how to get you to trade with him. Like, he has a certain way to get you to trade with him, but in the end, you're losing out the most. And he's gaining the most from you, basically. I learned that a lot. I watch his videos. I understand this dude very well. That's the one dude I would never do trade with in my entire life. Never. No matter he has something I really need, I would never do a trade deal with that dude, ever. Buying from him is different. He's a really good guy. I respect him for that. He gave me, he gave me a super rare Paris insect from PSV pack. Respect him for that. But doing a trade deal with that guy, you gotta be very careful when you do the trade deal with him. I'm telling you, you're gonna get swindled like it's nothing. Just 2 seconds. I know some people who learned the lesson the hard way, and they're like, "Yep, he was right, man. That dude's a swindler."
Oh man. That's Taylor. What do you think, man? What would you say?
Okay. Obviously, the obligatory follow Prodigy because that's good content. But aside from Prodigy, top 3, Yugi versus Baka. Just a genuine dude. He bought a full OTS 7 set off me whenever he first kind of came into the community on Instagram. And I've known him for a while. We don't talk much anymore, but he's a really cool dude. He's bought quite a few random collectibles off me that weren't necessarily card related. And I actually sold him my original dual disc from Battle City. So he bought that off me. Anyways, Shadow Realm Trading Co. Just again to bring him up, a very good account, very genuine account. He's just overall really chill dude. And other one I would say isn't necessarily Yu-Gi-Oh related, but just a good collector's account is Brown Eyes Yellow Dragon. Just because he has a genuine love for the hobby. He's more of a Pokemon collector, but he does dabble in Yu-Gi-Oh. A lot of his stuff is PSA related, but as a collector, I feel like I love watching his content. He's very passionate about it. You never see him trying to shill to manipulate markets or nothing. And some of the stuff he says is very informative. I mean, there's a ton of accounts I could think of that people should follow, but off the top of my head, 3 are probably top 3. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. David's a really cool guy, man. He's always posting bangers too. It's not just, like you said, it's not just Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon, but I mean, he even dabbles in MetaZoo and pretty much anything that's high end rarity, which is really cool. So when he posts something, you know it's going to be fire. I'm aware of all 3 of those accounts. Yugi versus Baka Zodia setup that he has in his room with the lights and stuff. I think that's really cool stuff. That's cool. I'm always interested what people like on their Instagram accounts and the top accounts and the reasons why. I always find that an interesting question to ask. Another question I want to ask you guys is, what's your prize card in your collection, or the one thing in your collection that just out of everything that you got, or it doesn't necessarily have to be value. it could just be, this means the most to me because of my childhood, or what's the reason behind it. And I'd like to hear what both of you have on that.
Blue Eyes from SDK First Edition from Stardeck Kaiba. That card is when I first got back into the hobby. That card and Dark Edition, those are two cards I got for dirt cheap. Light play, don't care. But the Blue Eyes, I managed to get 2 more copies in good condition somewhat. I don't really care. It's so beautiful, the artwork. Like, if you put the card under a light, like a lamp, whatever,
Yeah.
it reflects like a rainbow type. It looks so beautiful. That artwork is like the best artwork they made, no matter what. You can't beat that artwork with LB Blood. The Red Eyes kept OG still after such a long time. It's still the OG artwork for Red Eyes still, no matter what.
Right.
That's what the Blue Eyes still the best. Aren't you, chicken boy?
Taylor, what's your favorite thing in your collection and why?
Well, my favorite one right now, I can't reveal the grade of because it's an upcoming video with Yugioh. If anybody watched his Cybernetic Revolution First Edition opening, I pulled the ultimate rare Cyber End Dragon. Get it graded, and he's going to be doing a guess the grade really soon. But until then, I can't reveal what it got graded. But raw card wise, it's probably a tie between First Edition Super Rare Cyber Dragon I pulled from the same break, and then the Magi Magician Girl that's only in Japanese due to her pendant, and the Anniversary Jinzo. I have the Japanese, I don't have the English, but Magi and the Jinzo I recently got, and those are cards that I just never got around to getting, but I love the artwork.
You know, it's cool that you're focused more on the artwork than necessarily the value, as well as, you know, it doesn't seem like you care that it's either English or non-English version. I had pretty much one more question for you guys, and then we'll get to the second part of the interview. Who do you guys think is the biggest influencer in the entire community, and what would you actually like to see from that influencer in next year going into 2022? It's a tough question, I know. So
Team APS, which started the group Paul, that's what he named the channel after, but it's a group of guys over in Louisiana, and Yu-Gi-Oh related content. They do skits, and they're actually pretty well known on YouTube. Like, they have a pretty substantial following, but just the genuine love every single member of, and the way that they look at things is just very, genuine.
The different genre that they do, it's not just one specific thing. They change it up, and that's the biggest thing is with being a content creator, is you can't just do one thing. You know, you've got to mix it up. You've got to have an arsenal of different things that you're working with. And if you can capture an audience and have them relate to what you're talking about, and it be something that you already enjoy, well, hey, that's 2 birds, 1 stone. You know, definitely makes sense. Ryan, hopefully you had some time to think about that question. What do you think?
Old school expert, a respectful guy. His vids was really good. That what got me to Yu-Gi-Oh, especially him. I think he's the one who got people into grading Yu-Gi-Oh cards, because not much people know about grading Yu-Gi-Oh cards before. He's the one. I think he's the first guy that did it. Right. So when people start learning from that way, that's what people got from. And his vids were really good. He did unboxing from Legend Blue Eyes to Agent Sanctuary. All the sets, all the packs, all the cards, graded cards from the sets. Very good content for his videos. Really good stuff. You know, those videos, you really see them anymore, basically. Even though those videos were like about since 2014 and a long time ago, you really see good videos like that. But his videos are really good content that I hope he can make a return back next year.
Times when I'll watch his video and like I'll actually take some notes on what he says, because it's spot on, and it's like, for someone who's been a collector myself for almost 20 years, I'm constantly learning something new, especially if it's something that I'm trying to collect or I'm interested in. It's the second part here, guys. If you're familiar with the interview series, I like to do what we call just either or, and it's just off the top of your head. I'm going to ask you, do you like this one? You like this one? And whatever immediately pops in your head is the answer I'd like to get. And if you can both try to say it at the same time or very close, that way it's not, I don't want you to have to think about it too much. It's more what immediately pops in your head. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's fine. Okay.
All right. So, guys, Yugi or Kaiba?
Kaiba.
Kaiba.
Sorry.
2 Kaibas. We got Pegasus or Bakura?
Because it's
Cora.
I have a feeling you say Booker after what you said earlier. Joey or Tristan?
Joey.
Joey. Maya or Taya?
Taya.
All right. A cyber harpy or copycat?
Copycat.
Heck yeah.
That's our work in Retro Pack. That's the best.
Copycat will be cyber harpy. So
Exactly. Yeah.
Ultras or secrets?
Secrets.
They just shine better, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the way that light catches them.
EMG baby, number one.
Rex Raptor or Weevil Underwood?
Rex Raptor. Loses more matches than anybody else except for Rex Raptor.
Only like Weevil because of Parasite. Dopest card in the game.
Right.
He sucks. He cheated. He still lost twice. Twice he did that. He lost. That's sneaky.
That's true.
We got Bandit Keith or Bones.
Bandit Keith. Sheep deck, and Bones has a zombie deck. That's like one. Be careful with that deck. Machine monsters are very tough to beat. Sometimes you'd be surprised how hard it is.
We got old school sets or new sets.
Old school sets.
Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl.
Dark Magician.
Blister packs or booster packs.
Blisters.
Booster packs.
Okay, so we have boosters. Raw cards or graded cards.
Raw cards.
PSA or BGS. PSA. Glossy or wavy.
Wavy.
Glossy.
Okay. And then last one, Instagram or YouTube.
Instagram.
A lot of differences there. That's pretty cool, guys. Was there anything specifically you guys did want to talk about?
You got Halo God. This dude is cool, whatever. You buy a pack from this dude, his live feed freezes, lags out, just goes nowhere. I'm like, what the hell? I bought a pack from this dude and it's frozen. His live feed freezes, and like you open a pack or you pull not much crap from him, basically you pull some stupid nonsense crap. It's like,
well, let me ask you this, Ryan. Let me ask you this.
So bro.
You're saying what's negative about it. What can the community do to change what you're stating there? How about that?
They should come together and be happy with the Yu-Gi-Oh. Be happy, be friendly. Don't scam people for money for a card, man. That's just as stupid as hell. You're making the community much bad for yourself. It makes a more bad image. It shows people that this community cannot be trusted. This community is just suspicious. You will get robbed, scam, whatever, and you're gonna go stress. You're gonna broke over some stuff. Whereas in the Pokemon community, there are less problems like this. You guys ever noticed that in the Pokemon community?
Why do you think that is?
Everyone's happy like you don't see much people with issues like this. Like
for the most part.
Yeah, like
a lot of the Pokemon community, the issues that I've seen are just you have people who have this face that they show publicly, and then behind the scenes, they get called out a lot on undercutting because the prices are so crazy. That's the big thing I've seen in Pokemon.
But have you seen people be happy with this stuff and now complaining, going broke and shit, taking out loans and stuff for cars like that? I never see people that much. Not really. I see people like that.
I mean, it sounds like it's a lot of negativity, but I do see a lot of good stuff too, though. I mean,
maybe good stuff about it. Like, people do good trades. People communicate really well. Everybody's happy. It's just rotten apples are ruining for everybody else. Like, this community gotta fix itself together. Plus, there's no grading system that some new people might not like the AGS grading company. I was talking about you, Prodigy.
Yeah.
They might not like that. They might talk a lot of shit about it, but I'm like, they will ruin that too as well. Like how Aegis does a system that it grades the card, it shows you what's wrong with it, it gives you a report. That's better than PSA. Let's go ruin that now for everybody else. That's what they're gonna do. Ruin that for everybody else. Like some people want to get the cards graded. They're gonna go or take their high-end cards or the limited crap and ruin it for everybody else. They just want to get the money out of themselves, basically, with Yu-Gi-Oh community. It's like a lot of profit for themselves. If someone would ever come in the community, I would say, think twice and do your research first. Those two things you gotta do first. Because if you come into this community, you're gonna have a lot of problems with you every single day. It's not gonna be easy. Like for me, it was stressful when I first came in because I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna get robbed, scammed. Is my card be worth something? You know, Yu-Gi-Oh is an investment. You're taking a risk here. You know,
Right.
you have to be very careful with this community as well. You know, especially when you're buying stuff, doing deals, you gotta be very careful. You know, this community is like tricky sometimes. You know, so
Well,
I would just tell someone be careful, and if you love what you're doing, go for it. But if you don't know what you're doing, do your research first and think twice before you come in because in the beginning it's gonna be very stressful, but as you go down the path, it's gonna get a little bit better for understanding the market, basically.
yeah.
And like people with high references, you gotta be careful too as well. Just because you have high references doesn't mean that you might not get a good deal out of your stuff. Sometimes, you understand?
Well,
I know people that
because
got good deals and they got scammed. They got sometimes.
well, too. I mean, you just gotta, the community is a small community. Most people,
Yeah,
if something bad happened, a lot of people are probably gonna find out about it.
yeah.
And vice versa. You just be
Some
smart
will
with it.
find out stuff that does happen doesn't go on public to benefit followers. Only people in the community that's very known very well will know what's going on. They
Right.
will. And not much will say anything. Basically, in my opinion, some that don't say that much stuff that goes on in the community. It's just behind doors, and that's about it. Basically, in my opinion, that's how I see it as that.
Let's hear what Taylor's got to say here.
Oh, I don't have much to say.
Hey, man.
I'm enjoying the ride. No, with talking about with PSA and stuff and AGS. I mean, CGC kind of experienced the same thing. They strictly did like Pokemon, and they just started doing Dragon Ball Super. There was a guy, I forgot who it was. He did a live last night of the first Dragon Ball Super card CGC did,
Right.
but they've had to shut down certain tiers because everyone said, "Oh, can't do PSA, can't do BGS," and I think that was something else about like communities. Yu-Gi-Oh is not the only community where people see money signs. You have all these people, and I get it. People are vendors. People, some of them it is their livelihood. So you have an option like CGC, but I mean, even CGC, they had their issues whenever they were first coming around and getting real popular. You could literally pop the cases open and switch the cards out.
Right.
Like I remember that was a big issue. They did fix that, but I mean, in general, though, I think it doesn't matter what community it is. You're always going to have those bad apples who see the money signs. They want to go after it. And they'll do anything to do it. But at the end of the day, if you come into the community, you meet the right people, and you do kind of watch your own back, protect your neck, so to speak, you can have a very good experience. I get where Ryan's coming from. There is a lot, especially in the Yu-Gi-Oh community, there's a lot of bad seeds, and they can make it very frustrating. They can make it very much a headache every day to deal with, especially whenever you get into the higher end stuff. But if you just take the time to kind of fill out people and actually kind of read them and make your own judgment to know whether or not you're getting the right vibes off them, and also vetting them, even if you got to go ask other people that you've seen done business with them, like, hey, how was the process with them? Was it this or that? Because I've done business with a few people, not for like super high end items, but like there was a guy I bought a card off not too long ago, and it was like almost a $200 card. And I hit him up and I was like, "Hey, is this card available? Like, I'm PayPal ready." He's like, "Yeah, it's available, but let me send you pictures of the card so you know what card you're buying, so you understand the price point." I'm like, "Okay." 16 hours later, "Hey man, I'm PayPal ready. Can I get a picture of that card so we can finalize this deal?" Yeah. Sends me a picture of the card. It looks good. I understand it's not minty, but that's fine for the price point I was paying. And this is somebody that's pretty well known as I won't say like high end collector, but he's not like, penny stocking it. He's got some genuine good cards.
Right.
And he's genuinely well known in the community. Well, it took 2 days of hearing nothing after I pay this dude. And then, I reach out to him like, "Hey, can I get the tracking on that, stuff?" And he just finally sends me a picture of the receipt. So it's like, okay, cool. The card, it's in a top loader, no tape, no nothing. It's just thrown in a top loader with a bunch of like coupons for some candle company. And And then I pull the card out, and one of the corners has this like slight nick to it. And the picture he had sent me didn't, illustrate that that was what the issue was that he was trying to get across.
Right.
And not a big deal. I got it for a good price. I'm not going to go and throw him under the bus and be like, hey, don't do business with this guy. Same reason I'm not putting his name out there right now. But to be on the level that he is, to have the followers, the numbers behind him, for people to vet for him, and then that was my experience of business with him. It's like, I'm just not going to do business with you again, because to me there was poor communication, there was poor packaging, there was just overall poor experience. And I think that's something real big in the community too, is people tend to have a poor experience with a person, and they immediately think that, hey, let me go put them on blast.
Right.
And it's almost like cancel culture. They want to be like, oh, I had this awful experience, never. You know what? Maybe that was the dude was in a rush during our process. Maybe it was something that doesn't typically happen. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, because if it was that bad, if his stuff is that bad with the way he communicates with people and stuff, then it would have come out to light at this point with how well known he is, So I think people blow things out of proportion sometimes, and I think it's just a matter of really trusting your gut and really vetting people to, kind of dictate your own experience within the community.
No, that makes perfect sense. If it needs to be more transparent, if there's a nick in the corner, if there's a something off on it that you're having a hard time showing the photos, just be very thorough. I think half the problems that I see are from someone not being thorough, like just being transparent with it and just showing you exactly. If you're going to sell something, you need to know or explain everything, the flaw, if you think there is a flaw on the card, or whatever. Just be more vocal with it. I think. I feel like it'll be a lot easier in the community too. Less problems on that, I think. Looks like you're
I
about to
mean,
say something, Ryan. What were we gonna say?
yeah, I would say like whenever people like take photos and stuff, don't use the flash that much, because what happens with the flash, it blocks out a lot of things. Sometimes you can't really see them clearly. You gotta take a picture in a clear light settings, where that when you take the picture, the back of the phone, especially the back, is the most important, because you want to see what if the back of the car, it has dents, has significant punch holes or dings or whatever. You want to see the back the most. And so what some cells do, they use a flash on the camera, which blurs out. Don't do that. Put it under light. Take a good angle from it. That way we can see it. And also give full description of the details of the cars, what is in the car, basically. Like, for example, I have, let's see, about 5 raw cards that I'm going to sell later on that I don't really need that much, just copies. I'll take a picture of everything, tell them, listen, this is, I pulled from Pack Trash. I didn't throw it around, whatever. This is the full picture back of the card. I will even videotape it for them. That shows them, hey, this is what you're getting. Let me know. Do you 100% want it, yes or no? Because I'm not going to, like, go back and forth dealers. Some buyers are bad, I get that. But it's always on both ends to understand that this is what they want. They give everything together, especially the buyer. They understand what they're buying. And the seller provides everything they're supposed to. That way you have a good transaction. That's how deals should be done. Instead, you don't find that much good deals sometimes. Some deals go good, some go bad. And that's how it is basically with any community, no matter what it is, basically.
Oh, that makes good sense. Yeah. No, if anything, I do appreciate you guys today. This has been a lot of fun. Some things that we talked about was pretty interesting, and I'm curious what the viewers are gonna think on it. Definitely,
sure.
guys. If you like today's content, this one's a little bit more open, which I really like that a lot. I appreciate your guys' opinions, and
no problem.
If anything, just being open about it and not sugarcoating it. That's exactly what this whole series has been about. Is I want to hear what the people are talking about, what they feel, and how they feel about the community. Because it's, if anything, this is our community. When it comes down to it, no matter if you have one follower or you got 100,000 followers, you're still part of it, and everyone wants to be a part of something. But I think, if anything, what I understand from both of you guys is you just wish the community would just become one together and just be helpful. Like, because I don't know about you guys, but I feel like it was like 3 years ago when I first started on Instagram, and I felt like everyone was such a tight knit group. People would really go out of their way to try to help you get a card, or hey, this card's really valued at $300, but because I know you need it in your collection and it means a lot to you, I'm going to give you a discount on it. and I just don't really see that much nowadays, that kind of thing going. So for me, I want to see more of that where, and I understand valuations, and a lot of people do this for a business, but you don't have to 10x on every item that you sell or you buy and resell. I think that it's stuff that can be fixed. I really do. This is like little things that, like, if I think accountability is a big thing. Figuring that out is, I guess, easier said than done. But I guess that's what I'm looking at: more accountability, more transparency, and just being as a team, man. Because everyone has a goal. Everyone's a collector, or watches the show, or watches people on YouTube. But if anything, what I've noticed is people. What is the one thing we have all in common? We all like Yu-Gi-Oh. So if anything, we should all, help each other out. And if you can't win every time, or if you can't sell it for that cheap, it's understandable. But there is times, though, that I do see where people could help more people out than what they're doing. That's what I'd like to see. Yeah. Guys, go check out these two guys. Awesome Instagram accounts. Post a lot of fire. Agent Lambchop's always posted something different off the wall. And then Yugiohtradingcard Ryan here always posted something awesome, sets in his binders, but always posting really awesome cards. Link in the description. And definitely please leave a comment on today's video. I'm really curious to hear the feedback from you guys. A lot of interesting stuff. And continue the series, guys. Until the next video, Yu-Gi-Oh! Prodigy, signing out.
If you need any Call of Duty hacks or mods or whatever, check him out. He's a good guy, friend of mine. So he does really good stuff. So tell him, if you ever hit him up, tell him Joker sent you, and he'll hook you up with really good guys, okay?
Any shout outs for you, Lambchop?
No, man, just to go follow Prodigy and drop a comment down below. Let us know what you think.
Hey, guys.
Down below.
Yes. I think Team APS. Team APS. Which, funny enough, I forget what the actual APS acronym is.
Yeah, check out my IG profile. Let me know what you think. There's good cards. Some cards might be sold later on. If you like them or whatever, just let me know. But whatever I say today, if you don't like me, that's on you, pal. I don't care about you. I just say the truth, man. That's how it is. So peace out, guys, and have a good night.